The Suryavamsi of Gajapati. The Ganga dynasty was succeeded by another glorious dynasty known as the Suryavamsi Gajapatis. Political anarchy reigned in Odisha from the middle of the 14th century AD. Due to the later Ganga's weakness and ineffectiveness, was brought to an end by the emergence of a powerful military leader named Kapilendradeva, who overthrew the Gangas and established the Suryavamsi dynasty. The rulers of this dynasty claimed descent from the mythical solar dynasty to which Lord Ramchandra belonged for personal glorification. Due to the fact that they possessed a sizable elephantry in their army, they were popularly referred to as Gajapatis, or lords of the elephants. The Suryavamsi rulers traced their ancestry all the way back to the sun god. The title Gajapati or Lord of Elephants was invariably bestowed upon the dynasty's rulers. Previously, some eastern Ganga rulers bore the title Gajapati, but they were not well known as Gajapati rulers. Perhaps the rulers of this dynasty owed a great deal of their royalty to their possession of a large number of elephants. Odisha reached its zenith of glory during the 15th and 16th centuries under the Suryavamsi kings. Not only were the Suryavamsi Gajapati kings noted for their aggressive imperialism, but also for their century-long rule and the renaissance of Oriya literature. Sources of the Suryavamsi Gajapatis. The history of Odisha's Suryavamsi Gajapatis is based on a variety of available sources. The sources are classified into two categories: literary sources and inscriptions. Sanskrit literary works such as the Parsurma Vijaya, Abhinva Vinisanharam, Saraswati Vilasam, Jagannath Vallabha, and Prabodha Chandrodaya are all examples of literary sources. The Madala Panji, Sarla Mahabharata, Chaitanya Bhagavata, and Jagannath Charitamrite are all Oriya works. Bengali literary works such as the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Mangala are examples of this. Telugu works such as Manuchritam and Krishnarsa Vijayamu, as well as Persian works such as the Tarikh-i-Farishta, Tabqat-i-Akbari, Akbarnama, and Burhan-i-Masir, constitute the Suryavamsi Gajapatis literary sources. Similarly, inscriptions such as the Velgalani copper plate inscription, the Lingaraj temple inscription, the Puri Jagannath temple inscription, inscriptions discovered in Simhachalam, Sri Shailam and Sri Kurmam, as well as the Velicherla copper plates and the Kondavidu inscription, among others, serve as inscriptional sources for the Suryavamsi rule in Odisha. The Gajapati rulers. The Kapilendra Deva. Kapilendra Deva was the founder of the Suryavamsa Gajapati Empire that ruled parts of eastern and southern India, including present-day Odisha as the center of his empire. He had staged a military coup against the preceding and the last Eastern Ganga dynasty ruler Bhanu Deva IV and overtook the throne as the king was weak and had lost territories to the south. His name is also written as Kapilendra Rotre or Shri Shri Kapilendra Deva. In claiming descent from the Suryavamsa of the Mahabharata, he also took the title Shri Shri 108 times, Gajapati Godeshwara Nabakoti Karnatakal Bargeshwara. This title literally meant the Lord of Bengal, Gauda, of Karnataka region or Vijayanagar, the Lord of Gulbarga and of 9 crore subjects. The Purushottama Deva. Veera Pratapa Purushottama Deva was the second Gajapati emperor of Odisha who ruled from 1467 to 1497 CE. He was the second ruler from the Suryavamsa Gajapati Empire. His father Gajapati Kapilendra Deva Rotraya chose him as his heir to rule Odishan Empire at the banks of river Krishna where he breathed his last. This decision infuriated the elder brother Hamveera Deva, who was a battle-hardened and successful warrior fulfilling the task of conquering the southern territories and expeditions against the kingdom of Vijayanagara as wished by his father. There is a legend that when, under divine guidance, Kapilendra Deva announced that he was naming Purushottama as heir apparent, the 18 older sons in anger threw spears at Purushottama, all of which missed. Purushottama Deva is also the lead character of the legend of Kachi Kaveri Upakhyana, the poem written by the poet Purushottam Das in 16th century and later translated to Bengali by the Bengali poet Rangalal Bandyopadhyay. This legend is also popular among the Hindu devotees of the Jagannath worship tradition of Odisha. The Prataparudra Deva. Prataparudra Deva was the third Gajapati emperor of Odisha from the Suryavamsi Gajapati empire started by his grandfather Kapilendra Deva Rotraya. He ruled from the year 1497 to 1540 CE. Besides being a ruler, he was a devout Vaishnav and adherent of the famous saint Sri Chatnaya who arrived in Odisha during his rule. His life was extremely occupied with overwhelming military campaigns in defense of his inherited territory from three frontal invasions by the enemy states Vijayanagar, Husain Shahi dynasty of Bengal and Kuthab Shahi dynasty of Golconda. He lost large portions of his territory to the neighboring enemy states, initiating the dissolution of Odisha's military hegemony and imperial status that continued for nearly a period of 600 years before him. The Administration of Gajapati. The Suryavamsi Gajapatis' vast empire stretched from the Ganges to the Godavari. The capital of this vast empire was Katkapattana, Katak, which was known as Abhinva Varanasi Katka during the glorious days of the Gangas. Krityavasa Katka, Bhuvaneshwar, was the second citadel of the Gajapati power, and it was here that Kapilendra Deva was coronated. To ensure the stability of their vast empire, the Gajapati rulers established an efficient administration. The Suryavamsi Gajapatis exercised benevolent administration over their subjects. The kingship theory. The Suryavamsi Gajapatis had governed their subjects with beneficence. When his feudatories rebelled against him, Kapilendra went to the temple of Lord Jagannath and engraved an order on the Jagmohana invoking the name of Jagannath and declaring that the chiefs revolting against him would actually rebel against this great deity. Since Kapilendra's reign, the Suryavamsi kings have been known by lofty titles such as Maharajadhiraja, Parmeswar, Gajapati, Godeswara, and Navkoti Karnataka Kalvargeswara. Kapilendra assumed these titles following his conquests of Bengal, the Bahmani kingdom, and the Vijayanagara empire, and they were all continued by his son and grandson, as well as by the Bhoi rulers. Ministerial Council. The king was assisted in carrying out his duties by a large number of ministers and officers. Among them were the Amatyas, ministers, Mantri Shreni Siromni, minister's head, Sandhi Vigrahi, Minister of War and Peace, Sena Narendra, Army Chief, Vahinipti, Army Leader, Rotraya, Army Captain, Kathagra, and Samantaraya. Pariksha, Treasury Secretary, Mudra Hasta, Seal Bearer. Lanka Buddha, Chief Priest of the Temple of God Jagannath. Shrikrana, Accounts Writer, and so forth. Revenue from land. The Gajapati period's land revenue system was highly developed. The land was measured and a tax assessment was made in accordance with the measurements. Guntha, 20 cubits square. Mana, 25 ganthas, and Bati, 20 manas, were used to denote distinct land units. The crown lands were divided into Khada and BC and were administered by two hereditary officers known as Khandadhipti and Bisai. To facilitate revenue collection from villages, the king appointed a headman known as a Pradhan or Bhai. In the south, revenue officers were referred to as Naika and Naidu. During natural disasters, the state provided seeds to assist peasants in continuing their cultivation. System of justice. When it came to the judicial system of the time, it was quite effective in carrying out its duties. Criminal justice was severe. Gopinatha Bajjena, a revenue officer, was prosecuted and imprisoned, an instrument to give torturing death by putting a man under two swords. Similarly, Ramapatra received a death sentence. As a result, criminals faced severe penalties for their crimes. The Samantha Rajas. Additionally, the Gajapati Empire was divided into fragments, each under the control of a Samantha or feudal lord. It is obvious that feudalism flourished under Gajapati rule. Among the feudal lords, the Matsyas of Oddadi, the Suryavamsis of Nandapur, and the chiefs of Panchadhrala, Palkonda, and Narsapur should be mentioned. This feudalism, a heinous feature of the medieval period, played a significant role in the demise of the Suryavamsi Gajapati rule in Odisha. Provincial government. Provincial administration was quite efficient under the Gajapati kings. The empire was divided into Dandapta or Rajya provinces. Governors of these provinces were referred to as Parikas or Rajas. Provinces were subdivided into Simas, which were further subdivided into Sthalas or Muthas, each of which contained a few villages, and the lowest administrative unit was the village, Grama. The Gajapati army's size. Various sources provide conflicting accounts of the size of the Gajapati army, with Muslim sources often exaggerating or minimizing its numbers. The Burhan-i Tafsir exaggerates Kapilendra's army, claiming he possessed an improbable 200,000 elephants. Nizamuddin reports that Purushottamadeva had 700,000 foot soldiers encamped on the Godavari, while Ajijullah claims Kapilendra attacked Bidar with only 10,000 foot soldiers, an unreasonably small number. Portuguese author Nunes provides a more reliable estimate, stating Odisha's king had 1,300 elephants and 20,000 horses when opposing Krishnadevaraya. The account of physical strength displayed in the gymnasia at the Gajapati capital may be exaggerated, but it reflects the Odiya's considerable physical abilities. The gymnasia exercises involve lifting large dumbbells, raising heavy sacks to impressive heights, and cutting strong tamarind pillars with swords, showcasing the soldiers' strength and courage. The soldiers' training aims to ensure they remain steadfast and courageous during battles, showcasing the importance of physical prowess in the Gajapati military culture. Fortifications. Forts played a crucial role in the Gajapati's military system. Odishan kings occupied existing forts or constructed new ones throughout their empire. Notable forts in the north included Mandaran, now Bhitargarh, Kotismigad, now Kotsimul, Ravania and Deulgon. Several forts in the Cuttack and Puri districts were also utilized during this period, including Jajpur Katka, Amravati Katka, and Chaudwar Katka. Kasiagad served as a significant fort on the road from Chandaka to Khurda, most likely used to conceal troops during wartime. Smaller forts also existed, mentioned in Abul Fazl's Naikbari, including Hamma, Khimidi, Chikiti, Palur, Khallikot, and Athgad in southern Odisha. In the conquered territories of the south, great forts existed at Rajmandri, Undrakonda, Kondapalli, Adanki, Vinukonda, Velamkonda, and Nagarjunakonda. Odishan kings also occupied forts in Telangana, such as Devarakonda and Warangal. Udayagiri in Nellore district and Kondavidu near Guntur were the most formidable forts held by Odishan kings, and their capture by Krishnadevaraya significantly impacted the Gajapati Empire in the south. So, this is the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. To get the note of this video, scan the above QR code or check description to get the link. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day.